Okay, what I'm going to do, you requested the video. Obviously, the reason why you requested the video is because it's easier if I take you through what we are doing here as active business and civil society. Maybe just to be specific, as a ABCSP, which is Active Business and Civil Society Party. I'm Bakos, obviously, for those of you who don't know me. I'm the national organizer and also the chairman of the party. So I'm doing this video to assist those people who want to assist us as the Active Business and Civil Society Party to grow. Okay. But before I can do that, perhaps I need to take you through the reasons why Active Business and Civil Society Party exists. I'm not going to go to the details because it can take too long to give you all the details, because it took us almost 10 years to decide to actually register a party. But what is going to make it easy, I suggest that I just give you a background and talk about politics. Maybe just sort of look at what is politics and what are the political systems that you are faced with. And that maybe along the way will give you enough reasons to see why actually Active Business and Civil Society decided to exist. Okay. I know that many people, and I think at some point I was one of those people, but not too much, a little bit. Many people, for instance, they think, or you'll hear them, if you talk about politics, you'll hear them saying, politics is not for them, politics is a dirty game, politics is for crooks or criminals, politics is corrupt because politicians are corrupt. Some people will tell you politics is dangerous, others will tell you, I'm not a politician, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm an accountant, I'm a businessman. And you'll hear all these things. There's nothing wrong, in people saying things like that. But if you step back a little bit and you look at the whole thing, you realize that actually, yeah, they are correct to a certain extent. But there's quite a lot that they are leaving out. What they are leaving out here is the truth. The truth actually that politics is not for some people. You don't have people who were born politicians or born to lead or govern others. Politics and let's say politicians are actually produced by experience. They are not born. Of course, there are those people who have got a gene, or for leadership, like we have a gene for soccer, a gene for all the other things. But when it comes to politics is for all of us. I'm going to make an example, for instance. All of us on planet Earth, we more or less want the same thing. All of us want peace, we want happiness, we want our children to go to good schools, have a bright future, we want them to be successful, we also want to be successful. We more or less want the same thing. But the problem is how do we get there? That's the problem. I can make an example, for instance, give you a situation where maybe we're a group of people and we want to do something, or maybe we want to buy, let me just make an example. We want to buy pizza, we want to make pizza, or even to buy pizza and share it, if maybe we're 5 or 10, whatever. There will be different opinions or different views in terms of how that pizza is going to look like. Some people may say, no, I don't want onion. Others say, no, put chilies. The other says, no, I might want meat. The other says, I don't eat meat. You know, so it's a question of now who gets what, you know, and how much and how. Because remember now there will be a question where the other one says, I want 2 slices or 2 pieces. The other one says, no, I'm enough with 1. The other one says, I want the whole pizza. So then you can see already, you know, something starts fermenting there. You start to have a divergence of ideas and how things should work. And maybe finally we decide that let's make a compromise. Or maybe we don't even compromise. We actually, let's say, yeah, we come to a conclusion that maybe let's make this pizza. And a portion of this pizza is not going to have tomato, it's not going to have chili, it's a portion of this so that it can actually satisfy everybody. The problem with that is that we cannot all of us make this pizza. We'll have to delegate somebody, you know, maybe amongst us or outside, you know, depending if we trust that person. But the person that will be delegated to actually do the work of putting together the pizza, he will have taken all our concerns on board and say, okay, it's fine. I'm going to make sure that all your ideas, your opinions are embedded on what you guys want me to do for you. So then he's going to go out there with a mandate to say, go and get us this pizza and then bring it to us who are going to eat it. But then this guy now, he assumes a certain position. No, it immediately assumes a status. And once he assumes that status, of course, I mean, it goes with honor, it goes with respect, it goes with authority and all those things. And then he's then going to go and with the authority given to him, go and put that pizza together so that we can enjoy it the way we wanted the pizza to be like, okay? Now, the issue is that once that guy has been given those powers to go and put that pizza together, now we can't control him for as long as we have given him that mandate. So he's going to do that because that's what we have signed for. We say, okay, go and do it. That's what he's going to do. And his job is to bring the pizza to us, and then we eat pizza. So that's exactly what politics is like. And the other thing is that when he's going to put together that pizza, he's not going to use his resources. He's going to obviously use the resources that will be somewhere. But most of the time, the resources will come from us because we told him that we want our pizza. So, of course, we need to now make sure that we purchase the ingredients. Or we've got some money to put together the ingredients so that actually he can be able to put together that pizza. And then maybe we'll decide maybe he's going to get somebody's going to heat it up and all those things. But at least there should be some resources, and those resources will come from us. So that brings us to 2 things, status and resources. So that's what politics is all about. Now, it means it's us, the people who want the service and the products. We want the services and the products, or products and services. And then we have a person that has been given a mandate, and then we want the products to come to us, and then we have the resources. So this now is an interaction of these things now that creates this political system. And that makes us, whether you want it or no, or you don't, but it makes us now participate in this system that creates politics, because obviously we want to make sure when that pizza comes, I make sure that that onion is not there if I don't want the onion, and my chilies is there. So I'm going to look at it, I'm going to taste it, and I'm going to complain. If there's one or the other, this guy that was given this mandate, and then he comes back with a pizza with a lot of chilies, and somebody else does not eat chilies, it's a big problem. So that person is going to complain. And that is politics in a nutshell. There are many other examples that I can make, but of course we don't want to take the whole day trying to make a point here. Okay, so in short, the truth is that politics affect all of us, irrespective of who you are, irrespective of your age, gender, sexual orientation, educated, not educated. Politics affects everybody, and all of us, one way or the other, we participate in politics. It's just that we participate at different levels, right, in the political spectrum. But we'll deal with that at some point when we're talking about political spectrums, okay? So politics affect everybody, and we are in fact unlucky. Well, it starts as being lucky, but you end up being unlucky because you start with a person given a particular mandate with a certain status, which goes with honor, respect, and all those things. But these people, this group of people, they end up controlling every aspect of our lives because you don't only stop at the pizza. There will be other things. For instance, if maybe we want to maintain peace amongst ourselves as the people in a particular geographical area, we'll give them more powers, for instance, to even arrest those people who are doing wrong to other people. Like for instance, people who are killing other people or who are stealing other people's products or who don't want to pay other people for the services that were rendered. Now, once you do that, you give these people the power. They will actually use that power because they have been given the power. And at some point, this power can even come back to bite the same people who gave that power to them. Because you don't only give them the power to arrest, but you also give them the power to write the laws. And sometimes now, when they write the laws, they don't have to keep coming back to you to consult with you to say, hey, this is the law that you want to introduce. They now start saying, okay, don't give us a mandate every day, maybe like in the example of a pizza. Give us a mandate for 5 years at least, and then in that 5 years, we'll do everything to make sure that you are happy. And that is exactly where things go wrong. Because that's where now they have a 5-year period where they can do certain things, even if things go wrong, but they have these 5 years that you have given them. It's now a different example from the example of a pizza, okay? So there's a certain characteristics about these people, but I'm going to explain how these characteristics developed over time from the beginning. Maybe if we can trace them back to about 7,000 years BC. But we'll come to that one because I just want to make this very, very easy. I'm imagining here I'm talking to a person who knows nothing about politics. That's why I'm going to even making an example of a pizza. Those people who know a lot about politics, probably this video is not for them. But those people who are ordinary people in the township, because myself, I'm talking to those people. I talk to people who I assume that people don't know much about politics. And so that's why I'm taking my time to go to the basics. So the characteristics of these people who end up doing work for us, running up and down for us, usually, and you would observe this, usually they are unproductive people. They are actually people who don't work. Most of them, they have never worked, okay? And I'll show you at some point how it came about that they don't work and they are unproductive. And most of them, they never work. And they are also not very sophisticated. They are less intelligent than those people who work. And they are not technical. They don't do the technical work. They don't know how to do the technical work. They can't work in a factory. They can't, produce anything. There are certain kind of people that when it's time to work, they will never work. They will always go have meetings because they monopolize decision making. And like I'm saying, I'm going to demonstrate to you and tell you why it became like that. And usually they are also fewer than the majority of the people that they rule over. So they rule in groups, they form groups, and we're going to look at that as we go on with the series of these videos. And what they do, they prefer a unity amongst themselves so that they are able to sell a message to the people that are being governed or the people that they are servicing. You know, if I go back to my example of a pizza. So, but obviously now we've taken it a step further to say now you're no longer dealing with the pizza situation. You give them a much more serious mandate now where they can actually go and decide what they want to do with us for a period of 5 years. And then we'll talk to them after 5 years. And then we can give them another mandate after 5 years if we're happy with the services. But like I've said, a lot of things happen in 5 years. So now for them to stay in power or to stay with the mandate, that getting the mandate now and again, there's only one way. They have got to unite. And they must speak in one voice. So that they must keep selling us. Remember, us as the people are not united. Generally, we don't unite because we're just the people. We just want to go by and they live our lives and they do the things that we like to do. If you're a lawyer, you just want to practice your law, engineer, just your engineering. So we don't necessarily unite. But with them, it's very important that they unite. They form these organizations that you see that sprang all over the world, and they call them names. These days, they even put, they've got the regalia. They put T-shirts like you see my T-shirt now. I've already adapted to that because that's what they call branding. You have got to brand yourself so that people can identify with the brand. So that's what they do, these guys. Now, once they have done that, they have united, then it's easy for them to keep their grip on the people that they govern. Okay? Now, let us look at how did this happen? How did these people find themselves in this position? What happened? When did that happen? If you go back in history, at some point, our primate ancestors, maybe you can even go beyond, before that, maybe from about 2.5 million years at the beginning, maybe of a Stone Age or, you know, part of the prehistory, is that generally our primate ancestors were self-governing. You know, they were hunter-gatherers, you know, they were living in bands, you know, small communities, just above an extended family. So they were moving up and down, foraging, you know, eating wild fruits, you know, catching wild animals, you know. They were moving from one point to the other. They were never sitting on one place. Okay, they were never settling, so to speak. But along the way, somewhere in about 7,000 BC, or before the current era, and with the volcanoes and the establishment of the rivers, and then there was quite a lot of the volcanic ash that would be flushed down the rivers, and to a point where our ancestors, our primate ancestors, were living, they came across a fertile ground where actually, due to this volcanic ash, and they realized that there was a tendency of plants growing there and growing in large quantities. And then they decided that no, man, maybe it was not a bad idea, instead of them moving up and down, and they started to actually settle near those places. I'll talk about those places when we go deeper, looking deeper into the political systems. But when they started doing that, now they started domesticating the plants, and then they settled, and they also went on to domesticate animals as well. And then that actually was the birth of the political elite, because the people themselves, they were busy with agriculture. That's actually the first agricultural revolution. So many people were now busy with agriculture, enjoying themselves, no longer foraging, you know, eating now the plants. They were literally plowing now, and there was quite a lot of the soil was fertile, so it was so easy to plow. And then now there were these people, because of the enough food, there was surpluses, so there was too much. Some people didn't have to work, literally. They just had to sit around the whole day and be concerned with the affairs of the society. And these are the people who now and again had to go and have a meeting, because some people would start now quarreling over land and agricultural land. Others would quarrel over animals, quarrel over wives and all those. So these guys, they would sit down and spend most of their time finding a way out how to resolve these disputes. So they ended up actually spending most, if not all of their time dealing with the social matters or social problems that the people have, which some of them actually, they became legal. And that is how actually the political systems, and that produced the politicians, the people who are unproductive, who are not working, and who operate as a group. And that's how they were born. And then that actually gave us the people that I would call politicians. But something else happened along the way. Because human beings, by their very nature, they always like to be governed. They always want to have somebody who is responsible for certain things. For instance, somebody who's going to be responsible of making sure that the rules are obeyed. Somebody who's going to make sure that those who break the rules are punished. And so I can go on and on. And others would make sure that they make sure that the animals are well looked after, the crops are looked after and so forth, somebody's assets and so forth. There's no stealing from one person to the other and so forth. Then people would then go and look for somebody, and also this, in my view, of course I may be wrong here, but in my view there was also a very strong component of respecting God. That people also wanted to have somebody who can actually keep connecting them with God. Also somebody they can respect, who has got authority over them. And you would be surprised that actually the kings, most of the kings were actually approached by the people themselves. They didn't put themselves in the throne. They were actually approached by the people and say, listen, we want you to be our king, and we want you to rule us, and they give us the marching orders, and they will follow, so that we are your people, and then we'll follow your orders. And also, if you couple that with the fact that there was quite a lot of beliefs, whether you say religious beliefs or you say beliefs in or traditional beliefs in ancestors and so forth, whatever you call it, but there was always a superpower that the people wanted to stay connected with. Hence the kings or the person or that person, particular person or that particular family that would be appointed and be given that responsibility of leading the people at that time would also be regarded as the person who connects the people with the creator or with the supernatural power that the people believed in. Whether you say it's God, whatever you say, or ancestors, it doesn't matter, but it's something beyond understanding or beyond them, bigger than them, okay, as the people. So now, how the whole thing ended up, it ended up with the dynasties. As you would know, the very first one, first emperor, was actually in Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is actually in a Middle East. Okay, today it's called Iran. All that area there, because you would understand that is the area where, if you look at it in history, that's where everything actually started. Because even you look at the Garden of Eden, when if you believe in that when God was in charge, and Adam and Eve, they lived there. I think at that time it was called Levant. And then, but That's where basically, if you look at the history of the Bible and everything, if you believe in it, I don't know what you believe in. I don't believe in anything, but if you do, that's what history tells us. Now, that is where basically the first emperor, Sergio, the first emperor in the whole world, that's where he came from. And he ruled over Mesopotamia, all right? And the second one, of course, second was in Egypt, which was actually the second civilization. Because the first civilization was in the Middle East. And then the second, of course, was in Egypt. And then that way later on was followed by China, which is your Qing dynasty. Why I'm going there now, I'm just showing you that these emperors, that was a way of life those days, and it was the order of the day, that's how things were. But unfortunately, as the time went on, these emperors became very vicious dictators. And in fact, they became very dangerous. People were losing their heads. I mean, slightest mistake, you would lose your head, and that's it. And killing a person was nothing for those people. It went to a point where the people themselves started feeling that, no, this is unacceptable. They need to get rid of these dynasties. And you would remember a lot of revolutions started springing up. I mean, just to mention a few, you'd remember the French Revolution, for instance. I think it was in 1787, all right? And the king, was removed from power. And that would not go with only removal, and there was quite a loss of life as well. And you would remember in 1775 the American Revolution and the declaration of American independence subsequent to that, where of course they wanted to walk away from the crown. Okay, they were revolting against the British. And then you would remember also in 1917 the Bolsheviks. Okay, so they had to also do away with the king. So that tells you now that the people were sick and tired, and people, they said, no, we don't want now anything a king. And that was the era that ushered in your politicians. Okay, now there is another revolution, two revolutions that are important, which are not political. One is second agricultural revolution. Okay, actually that also happened in Britain between 1700 to 1800. Very important revolution, because I told you that the 7,000 before the current era was your first agricultural revolution. Second agricultural revolution happens 1700 to 1800 in Britain. And that one overlaps with the first industrial revolution. Right, very important industrial revolution, 1760. So in that period between 1700 and 1800, this industrial revolution happened. That is where now you see that the people, after all these on all these revolutions that I've mentioned, they were doing away with the dynasties, putting in the politicians. In Britain, something very special also happened, because there was the development of a new breed now of politicians. And the politicians wanted to dismantle the dynasty system, to do away with the nobles, the lords, the serfs, vassals, and to make everybody equal. And these people were influenced by Engels, who was influenced by Marx. The two of them, you see. And then, of course, Engels was influenced by, I think they were influenced by Plato and all those philosophers. But at the end of the day, these guys, I mean, you would understand that we had the guys like Socrates, who trained guys like Plato, and you have got the Aristotles, all those philosophers. And then the whole philosophy ends up on the hands of Engels and Marx. And then these guys, of course, Marx dies earlier, and then his friend finishes his books and then he publishes. That creates a problem because it produces now the guys who are very angry. And these guys, their ideology or their philosophy was born out of industrial revolution. They looked at what was happening. Like I said, guys, there are certain specific characteristics of politicians. Like I've told you that there were politicians that emerged in 7000 BC during the first agricultural revolution. This is the second group of politicians that shows up. And these are ones, they come in, they dismantle the dynasty system. But if you look at them, they are exactly the same in terms of characteristics. They don't work, they are unproductive, they operate as groups. They have everything, all the properties from the first group. And they are not very smart, they are not very technical. You see, they are not very sophisticated, but their power is on the numbers. And now these ones, they are influenced by history. By ideology. And they adopt the Marxist ideology. They become the revolutionary Marxists. Okay. And then they go on, they spread all over Europe. Okay. Trying to put this idea that we need to move away from capitalism that was born out of an industrial revolution. We need to move away from that and go through socialism and ultimately end up with communism, which is a classless, moneyless, and stateless society, which is something that nobody can try and figure out how it's going to work. I don't think even them, they know if you ask them. And in fact, to be honest with you, it's like a bedtime story. It's like someone who has lost his head to think that you can have those things. It will never happen. You understand? But anyway, be it as it may, they exist, these people. They have this thinking that something like that will happen. But anyway, that's not the topic of the day. So the politicians that we have, they come from that influence, and you'll see them all over the world. But there's something else now that is happening. It's a new era now, okay, that is ushering in a new leadership, all right? And the leadership that is being ushered in now is a capitalist leadership. Remember, I told you that most of the people who are business people says, I'm a politician, I'm a businessman, I don't want to be involved in politics. The other one says, I'm a lawyer, the other one says, I'm a doctor. These people are fed up now. So they have seen these things. And now they are tired of being led or governed by people who are less intelligent, people who are incompetent, people who do not know whether they are coming or going. So people are tired now, right? So now they are moving in. So this is a new era now, which is us now, right? And as part of the bigger capitalist front, we are now taking over the governments and saying, no, enough is enough. These people are not competent. They need to go to the back seat and relax. And we are now take over and run the country and run the world. And you might have seen, for instance, what is happening in America. Those lawyers who come from Harvard University, University of California, and all those things, they messed up with America big time. Until the likes of Donald Trump come in and say, whoa, 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 enough is enough now, one side, all of you. And then we're now in charge. And you are going to see that the Americans are going to be led by business people for many, many, many years to come. Because Americans have seen that they go nowhere with these guys who studied a lot of this ideology, this philosophy, studied history, and then they come up with this socialism and all these complicated things where there's no difference between a man and a woman. Men and men can, stay in the same place and they play the same sports. This is nonsense, you understand? So Trump is the only leader that has made it clear that enough is enough. We need to take this thing to the next level. And now that brings up another generation of leadership, a leadership that is not going to be afraid to say, we are capitalists, we believe in the free market system, we believe in the rule of law, and we believe that family units are very important. We believe that the country starts with the family, and then you have a village, you have a country, and you have the world. And that is now the new politics that we're going to talk about. So now I've said so much now. I just want to close by saying, I hope that these basics, these are the basics, so that it will give you a chance. When you look now at the news, you can see what actually is happening. We are at another stage now. We've moved from prehistory, I've told you, and then we went through our self-governing era, where our ancestors were self-governing. We went through the time introduction of the people who were busy with the affairs of the people, doing nothing, but of course just managing the affairs of the problems that the people had. Went to the kings and queens, and then we went to the politicians and the revolutions, and now we're at a new era now. This era is an era where the people who went to school, people who are technical, who have got experience, who have created empires, who have run businesses, who know how to run a business. Because a person who does not know how to run a business cannot run a country. A country is a very complicated thing. If you cannot even run a business, you have not created an empire. You have never run a business. You have never started a business, fall with a business, stand with a business, sleep and walk the business. You cannot run a country. A country is very complex, it's very big, it has got quite a lot of things. So this is a new era now, where a new breed of leadership that is coming in. And it will be the people who have got technical expertise, who have built empires, people who are sophisticated. It will be people who know about money. And then these are the people who are capitalists. And it is the time for the capitalists now to be in charge. But the capitalists that we have today, the good capitalists, they are totally different from the capitalists that were there in the first industrial revolution. Okay? So why? Because if you can check, even the communists or the socialists will tell you today, there's a big difference. Because people now, we no longer practice child labor, unlike the old capitalists in 1760, where they would keep children, as young as 12 years old. They were working with their mothers, with their fathers, and with a low pay, very long working hours. Today, we don't do that. People have got benefits at work. They work normal hours, 8 hours. There's medical aid, there's pension fund, there's provident fund. Employees, they are allowed to organize at a workplace. They've got platforms to raise their grievances. And they've got everything now. They are basically in partnership with the capitalists. Even the unions themselves now, they know that without the capitalists cannot survive. So it's very important for them to stay in power. I mean, of course, to stay for the capitalists to stay in power. The unions themselves are now capitalists because they own buildings, they own malls, they control pension funds, they control a lot of money. So this is the time, this is the right time actually for the capitalists to start working together. Of course, in South Africa, we will be leading the capitalist front as active business and civil society. I want to close by saying, so that you understand where this name active business and civil society comes from. The whole idea was that we were looking at a situation where the society itself can only survive if there is business. So business and the society need each other. There is no one that is important than the other. Even government needs business. In fact, government runs businesses. If you look at SAA is a business, you look at Dinel is a business, PRASA is a business, ESCOM is a business. That's why they call them state-owned enterprises or SOEs, all right? And then it's just a question of how they are badly managed that makes a difference. But the state, actually the country, or let me say the country is a business, and the president is a CEO of that business. So it means the ministers, they should be running like headless chickens, making sure that the country is actually running very well. But because if the president does not know how to run the country, how are they going to know? So that's basically what we are doing now. Okay. So in closing, I want to say, please share this video with the people that you think are interested in assisting us as active business and civil society to grow. Remember, our brothers and sisters are unemployed. We want to make a difference. We are very practical. Just to show you how practical we are and how serious we are when it comes to making sure that people get a chance, a fair share of the size of the pizza. Even our t-shirts, we don't do our t-shirts. We want the entrepreneurs themselves to do the t-shirts and sell them to us. We buy them. And those who don't know how to make t-shirts, we show them how to make t-shirts. They make the t-shirts and sell them to us. You see, anything, whether it's stationery or what, we tell them, go and get it, and then we're going to buy it. And then, so we're very practical. And also, we are not a t-shirt and caps party. What we are doing here, we go direct to the people on the ground, and we work with them on the ground. We want to know, what is your problem? If they say, no, we've got a problem with the football ground, the children don't have a football ground, or there's a problem with the tennis court, and then we go and look for resources and assist the people to sort out whatever. But we make them work, to make them do that, and then we go and look for the resources, and then we pay them for the work that they have done. So we're a very, very practical, business-orientated party. We, as we speak right now, we're busy with a program where we're training small businesses, and we're also assisting them also with funding. So there's quite a lot, but this is not the purpose of this video. Is not supposed to be dealing with that. But the whole idea, I just wanted to introduce anyone who is not very familiar with politics, who doesn't understand what politics is, how political systems started, and how politics started. Who are these politicians? How do they look like? What do they do? What can we do? So I'm glad that at least I've managed to put that. And if there's anybody who is interested, please just, you can actually call me. You can call me on 076, all right, 425 0911, all right? And you can WhatsApp, or you call, I'll pick it up. And also, we are looking for people who are going to participate in the leadership positions. We've got many vacant posts. We want quality people. We want people who believe in a free market system. We want people who believe in the rule of law. We want people who have proved themselves somewhere, you know, or those people who want to learn, want to develop. You can also call me, and then all of us, we can put our shoulder on the wheel and make a success of this baby. And by the way, we will be contesting the 2026 local government elections. And there's quite a lot that is going to come. Many videos where I'll be explaining our strategy and tactics moving forward. Thank you very much. Bye.